dating Pangulong Duterte. I was appointed and faithfully served as Special Assistant to the President, or SAP, from 2016 to 2018 as per Section 2 of Executive Order 2016-01. As SAP, I exercise mere oversight functions of 3 independent and cross-functional offices, of which are OSAP, Office of the Appointment Secretary, and Presidential Management Staff. As stated in the Executive Order creating OSAP, our functions were limited to scheduling, appointments, and presidential engagements. Our mandate did not include sensitive matters like police operations. Walang kinalaman po ang aking opisina o sino mang staff nito noon sa operasyon at organisasyon sa government security sector, mapamilitary o kapulisan. Whether directly or indirectly, we had no participation in these operations. In 2018, I left the executive branch when I resigned in order to run for and eventually be elected as senator in 2019 as a legislator and chairman of the Committee on Health during the time of COVID-19 pandemic. I supported and coordinated closely with the executive branch to be able to formulate policies and legislation that would improve our response to the pandemic. We passed Republic Act 11469, or the Bayanihan to Heal, as one law, Republic Act 11494, or the Bayanihan to Recover, as one law, and Republic Act 11712, or the Public Health Emergency Benefits and Allowances for Healthcare Workers Act, among others. Beyond my mandate as a senator, nangako po ako kay Pangulong Duterte na hindi ko po siya iwanan at lalay pa rin po ako sa kanya sa pangangailangan niya po in my own personal capacity. Kaya naman po, sinasamahan ko siya at kadalasan po ay sa personal ko po itong kapasidad. At lalong-lalo na po sa kanyang mga pangangailangan medical, lalo na po na tumatanda na siya, kakaedad na po si Pangulong Duterte, at pangako ko sa kanya noon at hanggang ngayon ay hindi ko po siya pababayaan. I am one of the most accommodating persons. Alam niyo po yan. Bukas po ang aking opisina, kahit alas 12 ng gabi, pwede kayong tumawag sa akin. Karamihan po sa inyo, maging mga kasamahan natin sa lower house, ako po ang nakasanayang tawagan kung may gusto po silang iparating kay Pangulong Duterte, kahit senador na po ako. Invitation sa birthday, at lahat ng mga reklamo, pinapakinggan ko po yan. Siyempre, hindi ko naman alam ang lahat ng sagot sa mga reklamo. Kahit si former President Duterte, hindi niya rin po lahat alam sa dami po ng kanyang ginagawa. Kaya naman, kung may mga gustong magpa-verify ng mga information, maraming reklamo, scammers, manloloko, extortionists, we refer it to CIDG, NBI. Doon tayo tumatawag para malaman ang information. Ito siguro ang tinutukoy ng mga ilang opisyal, no? Including Police Colonel Leonardo, na sisikapin nating sisiyatin, no? Dahil sa amin talaga lumalapit at humihingi ng tulong. Kahit nung nasa Office of the President pa ako, kapag may concerns or reports that are confidential in nature, pinapasa ko po yan sa kinauukulang ahensya. All reports na directed kay President Duterte, siya lang po ang pwedeng magbasa, classified information, or documents ang tawag dyan. Ngayon, nandito po tayo para malaman kung may naging pang-aabuso ba sa hanay ng kapulisan at nagamit ba ito sa pansariling interest. With this information, we can then craft the necessary legislation to better serve our countrymen. As chairman of the Committee on Health and Demography and vice chairperson of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, we want to find ways to improve our continuing fight against illegal drugs through the creation of meaningful policies. As we know, the drug menace is also a health issue. Drug dependents should be treated as victims in dire need of medical, psychological, and spiritual help, with a chance of being successfully reintegrated into society as healthy and productive citizens. Para itong sakit sa lipunan na ayaw nating kumalat. Kagaya ng kahit anumang sakit, importante po dito ang prevention at early detection. Maghanap po tayo ng paraan para hindi lumala at hindi malulong ang ating mga kababayan dito. Tulungan nating gumaling at magbagong buhay ang mga nalulong sa droga. The past administration had shown equal concern for the rehabilitation and reintegration of drug dependence by directing executive branch of the government to support the establishment of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. Meron pong mga rehabilitation centers na ipinatayo, umpisa pa lang po ng administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Kasama na po dyan ang sa Bukidnon. Malaking tulong po si Senator Mig Zubiri dyan. Nueva Ecija and Las Piñas. Kaya lang po, sa kalagitnaan, hindi na po nagamit itong mga rehabilitation centers sa Nueva Ecija. Kalahati lang po ang na-occupy. Ang war on drugs ay dapat whole of government, whole of nation approach, kaya may rehabilitation at reintegration. In fact, former President Duterte issued Executive Order Number 4 creating an interagency task force for the establishment and support of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. We saw the biggest voluntary surrender of more than 1 million drug users and personalities, which is a feat that has never been seen in the country's history. Ang dami pong sumurrender nun kay then Chief PNP. 1.6 million po ang sumurrender. First 6 months po ito. Kulang na kulang nga po yung mga lugar no, kung saan sila magsusurrender. Nagkulang po ang mga preso dahil sa dami po ng nagsurrender. Nagsurrender po sila dahil sa paniniwala nila na seryoso po ang war against drugs ni Pangulong Duterte. Bilang mambabatas, trabaho natin na suriin ang mga pulisya laban sa droga noon at ngayon. At makagawa ng mga bagong batas na kinakailangan upang maisulong ang drug abuse prevention, mapagtibay ang law enforcement, masagip ang mga nabibiktima upang magbagong buhay, at mapalakas ang rehabilitation efforts. Bigyan po natin sila ng pagkakataon na magbagong buhay po. For my part, as early as 2019, I already filed a bill, Senate Bill 428, which would establish drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers in every province. I also filed Senate Bill 2115 to have vocational and livelihood programs for rehabilitated drug dependents. Bilang chairman po ng Committee on Health, Sports, and Youth, naniniwala po ko na isang health concern po na maaring matugunan sa pamamagitan ng maayos na rehabilitation at maging sa pag-promote sa sports. Hanggang ngayon po, sa kakaikot ko po sa buong Pilipinas, isa rin po ako sa author at co-sponsor ng National Academy of Sports. Iniinganyo ko talaga mga kabataan to get into sports, stay away from drugs, to keep us healthy and fit. This approach is also in line with the thrust of this administration that attention must be also directed towards the rehabilitation and recovery of victims. Apart from the accessibility of facilities, ito po ay napaka-importante. Sana po ay magtulungan tayo dito. We also have to look into the process to be admitted to these centers. Currently, a commitment order from the court is required to be admitted to rehab centers. Marami pong mga drug user ang gustong magpa-rehab, pero napakahaba po ng proseso. Kaya kadalasan, naisip nila na wag na lang magpa-rehab. Ang resulta, try to heal on their own. Walang intervention, bahala na. Kailangan nating ayusin ito dahil time is of the essence sa mga gustong magbagong buhay. We also have to look into mandatory counseling for victims and empower DSWD to help victims of this societal ill. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Youth, I also suggest crafting laws that would include in the school curriculum the knowledge and information necessary to prevent vices such as illegal drugs. We, as legislators, must work together to prevent abuse of power and protect and respect and uphold human rights. I have consistently worked to increase the budget for the operations of the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Our efforts must be geared towards fulfilling their mandate in accordance with the law. Gamitin natin po ang investigasyong ito at hearing na ito upang siguraduhin walang pang-abusong mangyayari tungo sa ating isang hangarin na labanan po ang droga. I urge both houses of Congress, magtulungan po tayo dito. Kilala niyo po ako I am committed to developing accessible rehabilitation centers for individuals facing drug addiction, and I am more so dedicated to ensuring the protection of and respect for human rights. Again, I am one with this committee in finding out the truth in the hopes that we could craft meaningful legislation for our beloved citizens. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Bongo. The Senator Cynthia Villar said that she will no longer deliver an opening statement. So I gave her time to you, actually, Senator BG. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, there are 8 senators present, 7 physically, 1 virtually. So we have overwhelming quorum to proceed with our hearing. And my dear colleagues, I gave you some simple ground rules beforehand. So I hope we can comply with the simple ground rules that your chairman is requesting all of us to observe. So at this point, at this point, we will ask the committee secretary now to acknowledge and make of record the resource persons and/or witnesses present this morning, and afterwards to immediately administer the oath to all of them. Committee Secretary, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The following resource persons or witnesses are present. Former President of the Republic of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Former Senator Leila de Lima. Former Chairman of Dangerous Drugs Board, Catalino Cui. Chief of Hospital, DOH Drug Abuse Treatment and Rehabilitation Centers, Dr. Jose Liabres. From DSWD, Kevin Bumagat. Chairperson of Commission on Human Rights, Attorney Richard Palpal Latok. Retired General Romeo Karamat Jr., Inspector General of Internal Affairs Service, Attorney Brigido de Jesus Dulay. Lieutenant Colonel Jovi Espenido. From Davao City Police Office, Colonel Lito Patay. From PNP Drug Enforcement Group, Colonel Hector Grijaldo. Also present is Major Emil Garcia. Former PNP Chiefs, Retired General Archie Francisco Gamboa, Retired General Debold Sinas, Retired General Vicente D. Danao, former PIDEA Director General Aaron Aquino, former Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson, Attorney Salvador Panelo, former Chairman of Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Greco Belhica, former Mayor of Iloilo City, Jed Patrick Mabilog, Chairman of Free Legal Assistance Group, Attorney Jose Chel Diokno, founder of Program Paghihilom, Father Flaviano Villanueva, widow of Joselito Gonzalez, Miss Cristina M. Gonzalez, representative of the parents of Kian Santos, Mr. Randy De Los Santos. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Can we proceed with the administration of the oath?
Mr. Chair,
Wait a minute, please.
before we administer the oath, may we know if Kerwin Espinosa was invited?
Sige, ganito muna. Let's administer the oath to all those present, and then let's now inventory who we invited and did not appear. Yung pang gawin natin. Sige.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please administer the oath.
Kindly stand up to all our resource persons. Kindly raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? For the record, Mr. Chair, everyone answered in affirmative.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat. Okay, Committee Secretary, may mga tanong din kami. Sino ang ating inimbitahan na hindi naman pumunta ngayong umaga?
We invited retired Colonel Royina Garma. She sent a request to allow her to avail of the granted medical leave furlough approved by the Honorable Quad Committee.
Sige,
And-
next, sino pa?
Yes, we also invited Edilberto Leonardo, but currently he is infected with COVID-19. We also invited Gerardo Padilla, but we did not get any reply. Padilla, sir, former director of the Directorate for Reformation.
But he
Bureau of
got our invitation. Is that confirmed?
Your Honor, there's no acknowledgement, but we sent our invitation.
Sige, so who's the, meron pa ba? Sino pa?
We also invited General Oscar Albayalde, former PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar, and also General Leonardo Carlos. Kerwin Espinosa, sorry, Your Honor, we sent our letter, but no reply.
So with that, Mr. Chair, may I put on record that next hearing, these people should be required to attend.
Yes. Hindi pa yata tapos. Go ahead. Sino
We
pa?
also invited retired General La Peña and retired General Wilkins Villanueva. They promised to attend the next hearing, sir.
Are you sure you're comprehensive in your list?
Yes, sir.
Sino pa? Yan na.
Not yet, sir.
Ayan, not
We
yet.
also
Okay, go ahead.
invited Mr. Guban. However, he just received the letter today, and he is under the custody of House of Representatives. And then we also invited Mr. Kerwin Espinosa. Yes, but we cannot locate his address yet, so we will seek the help of PNP also. And that's it, sir.
Are you sure that's it?
Sir, we also invited Ermina Espino, but we cannot locate her address.
Mr. Chair, may I know
Yes.
the reason why Mr. Guban is not around?
He just received the letter today.
He just received the letter today.
Yes, Your Honor. We sent the letter to Quadcom of House of Representatives.
Mr. Chair,
How can, may I ask the COMSEC, how can you not locate Espinosa when he attended the hearing in the Quad Commission, Quad Committee?
Your Honor, we asked the Quadcom Committee Secretary for his address, but he did not reply.
Who did not reply?
The Quadcom Committee Secretary.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Senator Bato, yes.
Yeah, I would rather that next hearing, we have to require their presence, Mr. Chair, because I can only surmise with their absence that they don't want their statements that they have given before the House of Representatives to be debunked before this body, Mr. Chair. Ayaw nilang lumabas ang katotohanan kapag ayaw nilang pumunta dito. So that's it. That's my only observation, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
Senator
just would like
Estrada.
to amend the motion of Senator Bato that we issue a subpoena ducis tecum against all those who were invited but did not attend in today's hearing.
A correction daw, Ma'am Espino is here?
Yes, sir.
Emina, so okay. So,
I'm sorry,
Subpoena ad
Mr.
testificandum. Yes, okay, ganito.
I'm sorry.
Okay, ganito gawin natin, okay? It has been manifested that Mr. Guban is under the custody of the House.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, they should have allowed him to attend. He has been requested by Senator Bato kasi to be
There is no
to be
reply.
here. So the two others under the custody of the House are sick. Isa with COVID-19, isa undergoing a previously scheduled important medical procedure or examination. So we understand, we are reasonable people. doon lang ako nagtaka kay Mr. Jerry Guban, bakit hindi siya pwede if he's under the custody of the House? How come the House did not allow us to have him here before us, my colleagues? So anyway, at any rate, the remedy of this committee, as suggested by my colleagues, is the issuance of a subpoena to all of...
Subpoena ad
Yes,
testificandum. I stand corrected, Mr. Chair.
yes. Siguro, and we appeal to the House that for those people that they know the address is off, I mean, share the address. Share the address of these people. And then, of course, the committee will also exert utmost efforts to find these people and get their addresses. So, ganun na muna. In the meantime, my dear colleagues, ganun, we issue a subpoena to all those in the original list of invitees
We will
na
comply,
hindi
Your Honor.
pumunta ngayon, or even those with excuse letters, subpoena ang susunod na issue. Okay?
We will comply, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I know what would be the next move that this body is going to take if, after we have given them, issued them a subpoena, still, they will not be allowed by the House, since the House is having custody over their living body. If they will not be allowed to attend before this hearing, what will we do?
I will coordinate with the House chairpersons. Actually, I talked to Chairman Ace Barbers, and nabanggit din naman niya sa akin yung medical request of Colonel Garma. Kaya I had an idea na may conflict sa schedule. But si Jerry Guban, I'm surprised bakit hindi nila mapadala rito. So, but we will coordinate. Siguro doon na muna. Okay,
Thank
basta ang understanding natin dito, a subpoena will be issued to those who did not, who were invited, or even those who we failed to notify. Subpoena na tayo diretso para sa next hearing, hindi sayang ang panahon natin. Sino pang dumating? Yes, Ermina is here. Nasabi ko.
She needs to take
Can we ask our committee secretaries, kasi late dumating po si Ma'am, ano sir, complete name? Ermina Espino. Ma'am Ermina Espino, please, mag-o-taking po tayo. So, committee secretary, go ahead.
And Mr. Chair, may I move that in the next hearing, we include in the subpoena one attorney Enrico Rigor, from the anti-illegal drugs group of Camp Crowley.
Please, committee secretary. Pero in fairness to Mr. Rigor, no? He was not invited for today's hearing. Pero diretso na tayo sa subpoena. Oh.
And also, Mr. Chair, another one to be invited is
Sino pa? Sige po. Pwede na submit in writing. Pwede naman submit in writing kasi especially kasi new names po yan sila. Okay?
I forget, I remember the name. Ronnie Dayan. Ronnie Dayan, the former driver of Senator De Lima, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We'll invite.
I don't know kung nakakulong, basta we have to
We will
ask
find out the
questions.
personal circumstances, the present personal circumstances of Mr. Dayan. Sige, can we
Yes,
now
thank you, Mr.
administer?
Before that, since this hearing will entail a lot of time, siguro pwede na i-coordinate ng ating committee na pakuha na ito si Guban dun sa House of Representatives kung pwede.
Suggestion of our Senate President Pro Tempore, let's exert effort to coordinate with the House. Basta dito pa morningan, so ang hearing natin, we have to observe some kind of a discipline, make good use of our time. Try to suspend our hearing by 3 or 4 p.m. this afternoon.
Mr. Chair.
Hey, can we finish with this Pino? Baka malimutan pa natin. Let's
Ms.
administer
Espino.
the oath to this one person, late arrival.
Ms. Ermina Espino, kindly raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Yes, Mr. Chair, pwede rin po bang maimbita sa next hearing ang DOJ Secretary Remulla at yung current chief ng PNP IAS?
And Chief of PNP IAS, Attorney Dodo Dulay is here, and he's here, and ready
Okay,
siya. I
salamat,
think he's
Mr.
ready. He also took his oath.
Salamat, Chief. And then si Secretary Remulla na lamang po.
Yeah,
kung
Secretary Remulla
Salamat
will
kayo,
be
Mr.
sent an
Chair.
invitation letter. Majority Leader?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A while ago, you answered in the affirmative that we are now adopting the new rules. Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, to expedite the proceedings, when we invite witnesses or resource persons, we should likewise ask for their sworn statements in advance.
Yes, we did, but some were not able to comply, so depende na yung mamaya if, given our liberality, we will allow them to give us the gist of what they know. Okay, so, tapos na. Preliminary matters, tapos na po. So, given the nature of our committee, no, this is a subcommittee of the Blue Ribbon, so the chair decides to hear first families or persons who claim to have been victims of this Philippine war on illegal drugs.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, victim families. Oh, yes, Mr.
Chairman, would it be more prudent if, since we have the former president here, to give him the chance to have an opening statement?
Yes, he will. Once he's recognized, the former president can give his opening statement. But can we hear first? The nature of our subcommittee, ladies and gentlemen, this is a broom. Ano tawag mo doon? Blue ribbon. So this is about malfeasance, misfeasance, non-feasance. Ano muna natin, let's introduce into our records first, what are the complaints, grievances, or observations, or criticisms on the Philippine war on illegal drugs. Yun muna. And then we will now ask the former president as the president who declared the war on drugs to now to deliver his statement and his testimony, Mr. President. That's the idea, given the nature of our committee. That's it. So, but I forgot to acknowledge, of course, Senator Mark Villar is here and our Vice Chairman, designated ka na po, Senator Joel Villanueva, for this particular hearing only. Yes.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair,
Mr.
if
Chair.
I may.
Tama, sige. Yes.
With all due respect, Mr. Chair, it has been a tradition during all committee hearings that we give courtesy to our resource persons to have their opening statement. So, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, I move that we give our resource persons their opportunity to give their opening statements, if they have any, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Senator
if we
Bato.
add to the motion of Senator Jinggoy, if it is a motion, if you look at the former president, he's already sleepy, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. So baka mamaya makatulog dito. Please, kung pwede, unahin natin siya. With all due respect, alam natin matanda na siya and inaantok. Baka mamaya makatulog, Mr. Chair. Baka pwedeng unahin natin siya. Thank you, Mr. Chair. For humanitarian consideration, Mr. Chair, yun lang sa akin.
Okay, so there's an appeal, so can I suspend so that we can come up with a consensus?
Recognize Senator Ejercito to reiterate the motion. Estrada,
Estrada, yes.
to reiterate the
Estrada.
motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we give the opportunity to the former president to have his opening statement. I so move, Mr. President. Mr. Chair.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, it was never the intention to deny the former president to give his opening statement, but upon motion of my colleagues, we are going to give the president the first priority now to give us his opening statement. Mr. President, you are recognized.
Before anything else, Senator, I'd like to thank the committee for inviting me. Para once and for all, malaman natin ang totoo. So, I would like to request sa inyo na huwag ninyo akong ituring president or kaibigan. Treat me as a witness and tignan natin kung lalabas yung totoo. So, with your permission, at maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat for inviting me. I'd like to start. My mandate as President of the Republic was to protect the country and the Filipino people. Do not question my policies because I offer no apologies, no excuses. I did what I had to do. And whether you believe it or not, I did it for my country. The war on illegal drugs is not about killing people. It is about protecting the innocent and the defenseless. The war on drugs is about the eradication of illegal substances such as shabu, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, party drugs, and the like, as a menace which ruins people, families, communities, and relationships, and tears apart the social fabric which binds society together in peace, harmony, and brotherhood. It is not unlike slogans which serves as calls for a better future, such as the war on waste, war on corruption, and war against climate change. I have always viewed people addicted to illegal drugs as victims and patients requiring medical help and not as criminals. That is why when the war on drugs slogan came into being, coined first as a message to the people of Davao City to stay away from illegal drugs, but at the same time, I had a drug rehabilitation facility constructed in Davao City, a city government expense, manned by Davao City government doctors, psychiatrists, nurses, and health workers, among others, to look after the complete rehabilitation of those addicted to illegal drugs. I believe then and I still believe now that rehabilitation and not fear of death or incarceration to be the key to the return of the addicted individuals back to the mainstream of a just and forgiving society. But no mistake about it, I hate drugs. I loathe the purveyors, the merchants, and the pushers of this demonizing element. I have not failed to emphasize this from the very day of the campaign when I ran for the presidency in 2016. This was my covenant with the Filipinos who believed in me. And to this day, must still agree with what in government have achieved. It is unfortunate that drug-related crimes are on the rise again. Every day you can read about children being raped, people getting killed and robbed. And just recently, a drug den was raided within the Malacañang complex. This clearly manifests that the purveyors of this menace are back in business. Ano? Gawain natin. The Filipinos are anxious and distressed. Self-preservation is still the first law of nature. It is instinct. It is recognized in our laws as self-defense. That is why I have always told the police authorities and operatives to be mindful of this basic law of nature. However, I tell them not to abuse their authority and power, and hindi ko talaga pinayagan yung abuso ng pulis o sundalo kailanman sa buong buhay ko and as mayor for so many years and as president, in the guise of protecting themselves. But when your very life is placed at risk and it can be snuffed out in a matter of seconds, then and only then must you act accordingly. Repel the aggression only in self-defense. Alam mo, matagal ako nagturo sa aming bayan sa Police Academy. When I was a prosecutor, to augment my income noon bago akong kasal, nagturo ako sa pulis. Ang sinabi ko talaga sa kanila, when you are arresting a criminal, you are not supposed to request him to surrender. Rather, you have to overcome the resistance. However, pag ayaw, it's the duty of the police is to overcome the resistance kung ayaw mag-surrender. At kung may baril, at kung tingin mo, sabi ko sa mga polis doon sa academy, mamamatay ka, barilin mo. Barilin mo sa ulo. Patayin mo at least one less criminal in the community. Yun ang utos ko when I was a fiscal and I was a professor doon sa Police Academy. Yun ang turo ko sa kanila. No quarters given, no quarters asked. Criminal ito. Repel the aggression only in self-defense. Do not make orphans of your children and widows of your wives. I don't want that in my conscience. as mayor and president. Hindi ko mabigat yan sa konsensya ko. I have warned, but before that, my job as president was never easy, and it was not meant to be. I have tried to do the best I can to address the problem of illegal drugs firmly and without compromise. For all of its successes and shortcomings, I and I alone take full legal responsibility sa lahat na nagawa ng mga pulis pursuant to my order. Ako ang managot. At ako ang makulong. Huwag yung pulis na sumunod sa order ko. Kawawa naman, nagtatrabaho lang. Yun ang gusto kong sabihin sa Pilipino at mabuti niyaya ninyo ako dito. Once and for all, yan ang gusto kong sabihin sa tao. I have warned all of you as your president then and as a private citizen now. Drugs will destroy the Filipino. It will destroy my country. And I will never allow it. Baski ako empleyado sa gobyerno o private citizen, I will do what is necessary to protect my country, my community, at yung mga anak natin. This is a matter of principle. At papagkamatayan ko yan. Maraming salamat. I'm ready to answer your question.
Thank you, Mr. President. But now I think it's better to hear victim families, and then we'll open the floor for questioning and discussion. So among the victim families present today is Randy De Los Santos. Randy, yes. Please give us your testimony.
Senator
or statement.
Pimentel.
Yes.
Senator Pimentel.
Yes.
I just want to make a manifestation, if you
Go
will
ahead,
allow
go ahead,
me.
go ahead. Sorry, Mrs. De Los Santos. Yes, go ahead. Senator Villar.
I just want to manifest that the first request to our family when President Duterte became president in 2016 was to build a drug rehabilitation center in Las Piñas. He came to inaugurate the drug rehab center. My only disappointment is that the complaint of the people that it is hard to enter, to be admitted in the drug rehab center. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Villar. Mr. De Los Santos, okay. Try to keep it concise and direct to the point po, Mrs. De Los Santos. Go ahead.
Magandang umaga po, Ginoong Tagapangulo, sa lahat po ng miyembro ng Blue Ribbon Committee at sa mga resource person na naririto po ngayong umaga. Ako po si Randy De Los Santos, ang tiyuhin po ng napaslang na 17 taong gulang noong August 16, 2017. Nagkaroon po ng isang police operation, Ginoong Tagapangulo, sa aming lugar. At sabi ho ng mga pulis sa kanilang report ay bumunot ng barel, lumaban si Kian De Los Santos. Sa pagdinig ng mga kaso, hindi ho yun totoo. Napatunayan po namin sa korte na si Kian ay hindi nanlaban at pinatay. Intensyonang pinatay ng mga pulis. Mga ilang araw, Ginoong Tagapangulo, habang nakaburo lang aking pamangkin, naglabas po ng kasinungalingang statement ang pamunuan po ng PNP. At noon po ay pinamumunuan ng ating kagalang-galang na senador, Bato de la Rosa. Ang sabi po dun sa statement ay yung tatay daw po at yung uncle ay kilala sa aming lugar na siga, kinatatakutan at nagbebenta ng droga at ginagamit po si Kian de los Santos bilang tagapagbenta nito. Ginoong tagapangulo, totoo po, kilala ho kami sa aming lugar, pero hindi po konektado sa illegal na droga. Kilala ho kami bilang mga saksi ni Jehovah na nagbabahay-bahay, kumakatok sa mga pintuan at nagbabahagi ng salita ng Diyos. Marahil ang kagalang-galang na Senador Robin Hood Padilla ay makakapagbigay po ng kanyang pananaw sa kung ano hubang uri ng pagkatao kaming mga saksi ni Jehovah. Brother, magkasama tayo noon. Kasama ko po ang inyong ina. Ginoong tagapangulo, marahil po ang malisyoso at maling pagbibintang na ito ay nakaapekto po sa amin. Inalis po ako sa trabaho, Ginoong tagapangulo, dahil sa maling akusasyong ito. May mga magulang ho ako, may anak ako. Dahil sa statement na yon, na di umano, marahil, pinanggalingan, ay sa Intel daw po. Ang laki-laki ho ng budget ng Intel eh. Bakit ho ganun? Tinanggal ho ako sa trabaho. Dahil po dyan, binalot ng takot ang aming pamilya. Namamarkahan sa publiko at sa national TV na kami po ay identified bilang taga-benta ng droga. Noong panahon yun, nakakatakot na ho eh. Baka kami na ho isunod. At dahil ho dyan, ang aking kapatid ay kinuha po ng Public Attorney's Office para dalhin sa WPP. Teka lang po, naiwan po ako sa labas. Ako ho ay tiyuhin eh. Bakit hindi ho ako sinama? Sa mga panahon yun, Ginoong tagapangulo, takot po ako. Dahil markado na ho ako eh. Pero naririto po ako ngayon bilang kinatawan po ng program Paghilom bilang field coordinator. Sa aming pong programa, Ginoong tagapangulo, meron po kaming 312 pamilya na inabot na kapwa namin mga biktima. Lahat po sila, Ginoong tagapangulo, ay pinatay. Pinasok ang mga bahay. Police operation. Sa akin pong pagtingin, wala po ni isa man ang imbestigahan. Na dapat po sana, ayon sa batas, sabi sa Quadcom, na kapag ka po napatay pala ang isang biktima, ay dapat na imbestigahan. Kasuhan ng mga pulis at doon, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, hindi po ako abogado, ay doon idepensa ng mga pulis na ito, ng mga alagad ng batas na ito, ang kanilang pagiging inosente. Pero nakalulungkot po, Ginoong tagapangulo, na sa record po namin, may mga affidavit po na pinapipirma ang mga kapulisan at sinasabi doon na hindi na raw po sila handa na sampahan ng kaso o hindi na po sila interesado pa na magdemanda sa nangyari sa kanilang mga pamilya. Nagkaroon din po ng mga kasinungalan, Ginoong tagapangulo, sa mga pampublikong dokumento, kagaya po ng mga death certificate na nangalagay ay natural cause po ang dahilan ng pagkamatay. Pero meron po kaming Project Arise na kung saan yung 5 taon na pag-i-expire po ng mga kapwa namin biktima na wala pong kakayanan para ipagpatuloy sila sa kanilang pinaglibingan, ito po ine-exhume namin. Dinadala ho namin kay Dr. Fortun. Kahit po buto na, nagsasalita pa ng katotohanan. At isa na ho rito, Ginoong tagapangulo, Your Honors, ay yung matapos po yung 5 taon na renta po ni Kian de los Santos, in-exhume ho namin yun eh. Tapos po, dinala kay Dr. Fortun. Akala ho namin, okay na eh, naimbestigahan na ho eh. Pero may bala pa po, at ito po yung on record, maaari po nating tanungin si Dr. Fortun sa kanyang mga natuklasan. Ginoong tagapangulo, ako po bilang kinatawan ng aming pamilya, ng aking kapatid, nag-usap po kami bago po ako magtungo sa kagalang-galang na komiting ito. Ano bang aking sasabihin doon, Tol? Ano bang gusto mong iparating sa ating kagalang-galang ng mga senador at sa ating tagapangulo? Dismayado po ang kapatid ko, Ginoong tagapangulo, sa nangyari. Hindi pa ho namin nakukuha ng buo ang hustisya. Kung maaalala po ninyo, 3 po yung aming isinampang kaso laban sa mga kapulisan. Murder, planting of evidence ng baril, at planting of evidence ng droga. Ginoong tagapangulo, napatunayan na ho namin ito sa korte. E tila maila pa rin po yata sa amin ng hustisya. Nanalo ho kami sa RTC. May gawad po na danyos, hindi pa ho namin nakakuha ito. Ginoong tagapangulo. Ang kapatid ko ho ngayon na stroke. Kalahati ho ng katawan niya ay lantang gulay. Sa mga bagay pong ito, Ginoong Tagapangulo, at bilang kinatawan po, bilang field coordinator ng program Paghilom, nais ko pong ipabatid sa inyo na lahat po ng 312 na mga pamilya na sa aming pangangalaga, hindi ho sila nanlaban, Ginoong Tagapangulo. Ako po mismo ay personal na pumisita sa kanilang mga burol noong mga panahon na nakaburol ito. At nakakwentuhan po sila. Naalala ko po, pahihintulutan po ninyo, yung binanggit ng aking kaibigan na Jehovah's Witnesses noon.
1 minute, sir.
Yes,
Tuloy,
sir.
go ahead.
Na Jehovah's Witnesses noon. Ang sabi daw po ay, kapag ka namatay ang isang tao, makikilala mo kung sino siya. Sa burol, buti nga, namatay yung taong yan, napakasalbahe niyan eh. Pero kapag ka namatay po ang isang tao, sasabihin, sayang, nakakapanghinayang, napakabuting tao niyan, tumutulong. Marahil ito po ang naobserbahan ng ating mga media na naririto, na halos 2 linggo nag-cover sa burol ni Kian. Marahil po nagtanong-tanong kayo, Ginoong Tagapangulo, sa karakter ni Kian de los Santos. Hindi ho siya. Wala ho siya sa listahan. Hindi po siya, Ginoong Tagapangulo, nagbebenta ng droga. Inosente po at nag-aaral po ang aking pamangkin sa isang pribadong paaralan na kahit po medyo may kataasan, ay ginagapang po ng aming pamilya. Nasa ibang bansa ang aking hipag upang mangibang bayan, OFW po, para maglaan ng pangangailangan.
Thank you. Thank you,
Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Randy de los Santos. Pero pwede po kayo mag-execute ng affidavit kung lahat ng gusto niyo ikwento, pwede niyo po ilagay doon. Can we now listen to the next victim family? Senator De La Rosa.
Next question, Mr.
Hindi,
Chair.
sabay-sabay na natin lahat. Pakinggan
Baka
naman.
makalimutan mo maya ba? Habang presko pa sa utak natin.
Okay.
Short
There,
question lang.
can I suspend for a minute? Pato De La Rosa is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to express my condolences to Mr. Randy de los Santos. Alam po nyo, nung namatay si Kian, ako po'y galit na galit talaga. Sino bang maniwala na bata nagtutulak ng droga, pinatay? Eh, ako may anak rin ako. Kung mangyari yun sa anak ko, galit na galit ako, Mr. Chair.
Tama.
Kaya ako, I tried my best talaga na yung kaso na yan, kasi bata eh, binaril. So kailangan managot talagang gumawa niyan. Pero meron akong nasabi, if I can fully remember, sinabi ko, nung tinanong ko yung mga nakabaril kay Kian, sir, ang explanation na sa akin, kaya nangyari yun, sir, dahil yung meron kaming nahuli na po, sir, na isa dyan sa Caloocan at itinuro yung isang babae na tumboy na pinanggalingan na kanyang droga. Tapos, ang sabi nung poser na nahuli namin, sir, yung droga nung tumboy na yan, masyadong madiskarte, hindi siya nagbibigay direkta sa amin ng supply. Dinadaan doon sa tindahan ni Kian, kung saan si Kian nagbabantay, iniiwan doon at pinipick up lang. Si Kian wala namang alam doon sa droga kung droga yon. Basta iiwan lang doon. Kung si Kian nagbabantay ng tindahan, iniiwan sa tindahan, doon pinipick up namin yung droga galing sa yung suspect na puser na tumboy. Kaya sir, nadamay si Kian. Sabi ko, bakit nyo binaril? Wala, hindi na masagot. Hindi na masagot. Pero actually, sir, doon talaga sa tindahan ni Kian namin kinukuha. And ako'y nagtataka, bakit did I mention the name of a certain Randy de los Santos as involved in drugs? Ang alam ko noon, nabanggit ko during one of my interviews, na yung sabi ng pulis, na Caloocan, na ngayon nakakulong, sir, yung tatay ni Kian mismo, sir, tingnan mo yung mukha. Nauubos na yung ngipin, nauubos na yung gums sa kakagamit ng droga. User yung tatay. Kaya ang tanong ko nga, bakit hindi ang tatay pumunta dito? Bakit yung uncle ang nagreklamo? Yun ang sabi sa akin ng pulis. What can I do? I received that information. Sir, tingnan mo, interview yung tatay ni Kian. Tingnan mo yung mukha. Tunaw na tunaw yung panga. Tunaw na tunaw yung ngipin. Yung sir yan, sir. Sabi sa akin ng police operative ng Caloocan. So, senior ko lang rin sa media. Dahil kitang-kita naman kung tingnan mo. Kaya nga, bakit na-involve yung uncle, I don't think, I'm not sure. Please refresh me, my memory, kung nabanggit ko yung pangalan of Mr. Juan Randy de los Santos as involved in drugs. I cannot remember, Mr. Chair. I just hope this body can be enlightened. Dahil that's why I insisted to respond, Mr. Chair. Although ayaw mo akong i-interpolate yung ating witness, but anyway, if that is the ground rules of this committee, I submit, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
We will interpolate all of them together, Mr. President. Suspend Padilla for reminding this representation that his name was also mentioned. So, if he wants to react, go ahead.
Maraming salamat po, Chairman. Gusto ko lamang pong patunayan, unang-una, na ang mga Jehovah's Witness po ay non-political. Never silang na-involve sa politika. Opo. Pangalawa po, naiintindihan ko po kayo. Nararamdaman ko po yung nararamdaman po ninyo dahil ang kapatid ko po, once upon a time, napatay din po. At siya din po ay binansagan na Carnap King. So naiintindihan ko po, nararamdaman ko po ang sakit. Dahil nung nangyari po ito, ako po ay napakabata pa nung pinatay yung aking kapatid at sinabing siya ay Carnap King. Siya po ay ganun din, summary execution din po. Kaya naiintindihan ko po kayo at nakikiisa po ako sa inyo. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Senator Padilla. Can we, makinig tayo naman sa testimony po ng isa pang nagkiklaim na victim family po sila. Ma'am Gonzales, Cristina Gonzales. Sige. Sige po, bigyan ko kayo ng mga 5 minuto, more or less. Apa.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat.
You can remove your face mask.
Ako po si Cristina Gonzales po, asawa ni Joselito Gonzales ng taga-Antipolo po. Tulad po nung sinabi nila, ang alam po ng lahat, nagbebenta po kami ng droga. Opo, totoo po yun. Pero po yung ibinibenta po namin galing po talaga po sa pulis. Kaya po malakas din po ang loob namin ng mga panahon na yun na magbenta dahil nga po galing sa kanila. Na kumbaga, wag daw po kaming matakot na mahuli o ano nga po dahil nga po galing sa kanila. Pero nung nga po nasabing maglilinis na nga daw po, sinabihan po nila yung asawa ko na paalisin ko na daw po ng Antipolo kasi nga maglilinis na nga daw po ng mga panahon ng 2016. Pero hindi po umalis yung asawa ko. Dahil ang sabi niya po, baka daw po lumamig lang, hindi naman po siya para galawin. Pero yun nga po, July 5, kinuha na lang po siya sa bahay, sabi nga po maglilipat bahay lang. Pero hindi na po nakauwi yun. Nabalitaan ko na lang nga po ganun, nasa morgue na nga daw po.
Mr. Chair. Tapos ka na. Kailan kayo nag-umpisa magbenta ng droga?
Bali ano po, nung 2015, 2016 po.
2015. Hindi pa presidente si Presidente Duterte.
Hindi pa po.
Ha? Hindi pa. Who's the, sino, ma-identify mo kung sino yung kinukunan mo ng drugs sa mga polis?
Yung nagbibigay po sa amin ng droga.
Kilala mo?
Opo.
Sino?
Si Sir Allen Cadag po.
Who?
Allen
Pulis-
Cadag.
pulis
Opo,
siya?
Pulis Antipolo po.
Police Antipolo. Maybe we can invite him here. Mr. Chair. Sino pa? Bukod doon sa police na yun?
Yung sa asawa ko po, sir, kasi hindi ko masyadong kilala po kasi nagbibigay sa kanya eh.
Asawa mo, napatay na?
Patay na.
Opo, yung pinatay po nila.
So sino pa yung mga kilala mo mga police na kinukunan ninyo ng droga at binibenta
Yung
ninyo
po, sir,
eventually?
madalas pong magsama sa asawa ko noon si Sir Olaco po at saka si... Basta yun po yung nagsasama po sa asawa ko noon na madalas po nilang pinaglilinis nga daw po ng mga dugo sa sasakyan. Kasi nga po kapag may mga pinapatay po sila, yun po yung sasakyan na nililinis ng asawa ko. Doon po.
Sige po, nagtanong lang kami kasi masyadong, ano yung ano mo maiksi yung ano mo. So, actually, nagbanggit ka pa ng July 5, pero anong taon? Pakibanggit ang taon.
2016 po.
2016, okay. So, July 5, 2016, ang binanggit mo, asawa. Pero anong pangalan ng asawa mo? Ulitin, pakiulit.
Osilito Gonzales po.
Osilito Gonzales, okay.
Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
this is
Ayan.
also to clarify.
Siya muna, sige.
I'm
Senator
sorry,
Villanueva.
Mr. Chairman, this is also to clarify the statements made by our resource person. Yung timeline lang, Mr. Chairman, I think that's important, no? Kailan napatay yung kanyang asawa? Kailan po yung hanggang kailan po siya nagbebenta ng droga na binibigay ng pulis? Siguro yun.
Sige ma'am,
importante
fill in the
malaman.
blanks natin ma'am. Ang tanong ni Santo Villanueva, ano yung, kailan kayo nag-umpisa ng nagbenta ng droga dahil sinusuplayan kayo ng polis? Umpisa at saka dulo, yung huli. Sige po, Mike.
2015 po hanggang 2016 nga po ng June. Kasi po July, tigil na po talaga yung asawa ko.
2015, anong month?
March po yun.
March. Okay, sige po. Okay. Thank you. At least medyo na, yes, Senator Bato. Yes, ano, para lang pang-fill up lang ng ano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nag-attempt ka ba na i-report sa otoridad yung pulis na nagbibenta ng droga at nagtakot sa asawa mo?
Ano na nga po kami, nagsampa na po kami ng kaso sa kanila.
Kailan?
Ay, yung protection order ko po pala.
Yung pulis na yun, nasasabi, anong pangalan nun?
Yung nagbibigay po sa amin.
Yes,
Allen Kadag po.
Alin Cadas.
Kadag.
Kadag. Mr. Chair, can we invite that certain Alin Kadag? And to continue, Mr. Chair, pagkakaalam mo, nasaan siya ngayon? Yung pulis na yan?
Hindi ko na po alam kung nasaan na po sila ngayon.
Kasi, alam mo, kung nagsumbong ka sana sa otoridad, alam mo ba yung nangyari noon na lahat ng mga ninja cops pinaghahabol namin, lahat ng ninja cops na wala kaming makuhang ebidensya para mapin down siya administratively or criminally, pero meron siyang report na siya ninja cops, ay pinagtatapon namin sa Mindanao. Sulu, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Maguindanao. Pinagtatapon namin doon para matanggal dito sa lugar niyo para hindi na makapag-operate ng droga. Sana nag-report kayo sa otoridad, alam sa chief of police.
Pinaalis na po kasi ako ng Antipolo nun, sir, kasi nga daw po, isusunod na akong papatayin.
Ayun. Kung natakot ka, sorry. Sorry kung natakot ka. Basta, you should have reported that to us para matanggal yung mga tao na yun. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Ma'am, tinatanong ka lang namin kasi para lang may added details kami. Pero actually, ang aking request siguro, since si Attorney Shell Jokno, I think, parang dinidevote mo na rin naman sarili mo sa pagtulong sa mga ganitong klaseng victims eh. Pwede bang pakitulungan kami, gawa ng affidavit si Ma'am Gonzales para nandun na lahat, orderly yung kanyang kwento. Pwede ba yan, Attorney Jokno?
Ang alam ko po, Your Honor, ay
patulungan
may
niyo kami.
abogado po siya.
May abogado siya?
Abogado po
Sino
sila.
po ang abogado niyo, Ma'am Gonzales?
Si Attorney Dino De Leon po.
Andito ba siya ngayon?
Wala po.
So, sige, makiusap na lang po tayo sa kanya. Gawan kayo ng affidavit para at least alam na namin yung basic mo na kwento. Pero kung mga detalye, nandun din po.
Mr. Chair.
So with the permission of Senator Padilla, ladies first muna tayo. Sige, Senator Ontiveros.
Salamat kayo, Mr. Chair. Shukran, Senator Robin. Isa dagdag na detalye, Ms. Cristina. Sino naman po yung pulis na may-ari ng kotse na nililinis nyo para malinis yung dugo?
Kay Marlon Olaco po at saka kay Sir Baste, kung tawagin nga lang po niya.
Marlon Olaco at Sir Baste. Ano pong apelyido ni Sir Baste?
Yun lang po kasi yung alam ko dun sa sinasabi ng asawa ko.
Si Marlon Olaco ba ay pulis at si Sir Baste ay pulis din?
Opo, mga polis po.
So pareho pong pulis. Mr. Chair, kung pwede lang quickly matanong yung PNP resource persons natin, kung yung Marlon Olaco at yung Sir Baste, kung kilala nila, ay nasa active service pa. Kung sino pong pwedeng matanong sa PNP.
Ayun, hindi, mga retired na po to. Sino ang ating COMSEC? Sino ang from PNP ngayon na nasa HQ na invited natin? Na present?
Siguro, Chair.
Sige.
Baka sa susunod na
Yes,
hearing, Chair.
we will,
Opo, pwedeng ma-identify.
pwedeng, we will ask the PNP HQ to have also a representative here, but yung sa time gap natin, we will write them to confirm kung
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Sige, Senator Padilla, what was your point?
Maraming salamat po, Chairman. Gusto ko lamang pong sundan yung sinabi